I'm about to make chips for the first time in my car. Very cheap Iceland chips. This wee chip pan here, can't mind the exact price. It's supposed to be 900 watts, comes out of 1,000, something watts like that. But this wee, everything, I always buy things on sales. Apart from that there, how do you buy that? Because I have no choice. The one in the house is too powerful. What's the make of this battery here now? I'll get this thing connected up. I need to make sure that red goes to red, black goes to black. And she sparks a bit, but nothing you can do about it. It's hard to tell. You have to get ready for the sparks, like. Oh, I missed it, sparks. I'm doing this by phone. Plug in. GoPro's so much handier. See, all these YouTubers all have tripods and stuff. Look at LED lights. I don't have all that kind of stuff. All I have is a hungry stomach. So here we go now. I don't know what time it is. Oh, this video. I'll go by this video. Every 5 minutes I'm going to give it a wee shake. So I'll turn it sideways so I can shake it easier. Switch this boy on now. Oh, come on now. Why is it not going on? Oh, it's flipped off here. That's the dodgy there, isn't it? Fuck knows what's wrong with that there now, like. God, I don't know. Nothing's ever simple, is it? Oh, done 40 my chips. I have no idea why that's not going on now. That's why people go to chip shops, is it? That battery should be charged. I didn't check it. But that battery should be charged. There we're going now. We're going now. I don't know. One of my clips must be joining right. Start this baby up now. 20 minutes. Where's 20 minutes in that? My eyesight's not the same. I don't know. Where's 20 minutes? That's temperature. Why you bother finding that? What temperature up now? 20 minutes up here now. So I thought it was going to be a 20-minute video. That's 25 now. It's taking 3 minutes to get the thing started. That's done in the full way. So, 1,173 watts it's claiming to be. Now, I'll tell you the problem now why I went lithium. I'm not the leisure battery. Where's the brand at? EcoWorthy. Look up the website. Go to the EcoWorthy website that actually make it. That battery was £500 on Amazon. The last time I looked, was 470 or 480 pounds. I bought it from EcoWorthy direct for 350, and a week after I bought it they were doing £20 off coupons if you spent over £200. So had I bought it a week later I would have got it for 330, but if I bought it a week later I wouldn't have known with £20 offer, you know, only because I bought one off and they sent me an offer. So maybe if I hadn't bought it I wouldn't have got an offer a week later. Because they do solar panels and all that as well. The main difference in these batteries here, I have, how do I get the other one here? I have 20 minutes to pass here. But this wee one here first. That's lithium battery, but there's different types of lithium batteries. So the main difference on these power adapters you buy, that's got the inverter, MPPT controller, that's all the things in it. It's got fuses. First one of these I bought it on Amazon. It was money off it. I plugged in the 12 volt air pump for my bike, for the car. It fused it. There was no way of changing the fuses. Now, I already had it less than a week, sent it back, got a refund. So I went to buy another one. I suddenly realised they're so vulnerable. Anything goes wrong, you've lost everything. This one's got the fuses on the outside. So if the same was to happen again, it shouldn't have fused, but if the same was to happen again, you've got the fuses. So this thing here, you've got your 12 volt socket. That's your input. So you can put your solar panel in there. They make their own solar panels. It's a hateful out port for a solar panel. That's an Henderson port there. So more people might have them. But on the other side then you've got your USBs and USB-Cs and all that. They're all the outputs. But you're far better off using one of these. That's a fast charge. And if you want a fast USB-C charge, then you get one of these. You get them, some of them 20 watts an hour, they go up to 80 watts an hour. So it's much handy just buying one of these and plugging it in. This will charge up USB-C quicker than it charges up with the mains adapter. It's very fast charging up with USB-C. That's the fastest way of charging it up, but you don't get a USB-C cable wet. And as I say, most USB charger you get is 20 watts. You need one of the faster chargers. But the main big difference in these ones here, there's all your electronics on top. The bottom of that there is the batteries, like AA batteries but bigger. 1, 8, 9, something, I can't remember the number of them. I have them in torches and stuff. And that's a layer of batteries underneath. But them batteries, they can burst into flames very easy. If I was driving a nail on there, that's going to go on fire. But the light, it makes it light. So all these portable things will use them batteries for that reason. And they're meant to do 500 charges. If you buy an electric bicycle, that's the battery that's going to be in it. If you buy an electric scooter like that boy, it's going to be them lithium batteries. 500 charges. Once it's done 500 charges, they still work, but they only hold 80% of the power. But if you do 400 charges, still not 100% of the power, it's going to gradually lose the power. So by the time you get to 400 charges, it'll probably be 95% of the power. The power is going to gradually go down and down and down. That's got wireless charging. It's got your inverter. I can't remember what the voltage of the inverter was. AC and DC. When you go into the DC mode, it tells you, the brilliant thing about it, it tells you your input and output. It also does what they call pass-through. So if I plug in the 12 volt car adapter in there now, and I'm going to say it takes in 20 watts, I don't know, say it takes in 20 watts from the car, and I plug in my phone and that's using 15, that'll show you that it's charging at 5 watts. So you have more power going in and out. So in that case, you're not actually using the batteries. So if you plug a solar panel in there, and you plug in your phones or laptops or whatever, the power goes straight through into your laptop without going through the batteries. On the other hand, we're saying now you've got 20 watts going into this, and you're 40 watts coming out. The 20 watts coming in for the solar panel will go straight out, and then 20 watts from your battery will come out. So the battery lasts still longer. So that part of it's brilliant. But it says 500 charges is expensive. Now I want to do chips in the car. I need something to do 1,000 watts. And I thought, I want chips in the car. Like, you know, I'm vegetarian now, 30, 40 years. I'm not vegetarian a long time, over 30 years, 35 years, vegetarian. I haven't bought chips outside now, must be 15 years or more, maybe 20 years. Probably 20 years I haven't bought chips at a chip shop, because you use beef dripping and stuff, you can't trust them. So when I went from John O'Groats to Land's End on my motorbike, I took mashed potatoes and stuff. I never went to chip shops. I got my own wee pellet stove and I boiled the water up and I fed myself that week I was away. So I want chips in the car, like why the hell like today, you want chips. So this lithium battery here now, if I was to punch a nail through there, she will not go on fire. So this lithium battery is completely different technology. If you imagine you've got rectangle batteries in there, there's probably 4. So probably that height up there, down is your 4 cells. And up here is a circuit board. That's your battery management system. So if I was to crack that open, it's nothing like a lead acid battery. You've actually got a circuit board inside there. That's why you don't have nothing covering these terminals. If you were to cross them terminals, the electronic board will stop it going fire. It'll stop the thing damaging itself. But this thing, more importantly, will do 3,000 charges. If I want to drain it completely down to the bottom till there's 0 in it, you do about 2,000 charges. And if you went down about maybe 10% on the bottom, then you get near the 3,000. But whenever you use an adapter like this is now saying there's 12 volts in there. Whenever you take power off a battery and you've got a meter on the battery, you don't know how much power you have in that battery. That may say 12 volts now. If I stop using this, that'll go back up to 13. 12 volts, technically speaking, means the battery's going near flat. Once you flatten your leisure battery, you've wrecked it. If you would go for a leisure battery 110 amps, you're not supposed to go below 50%. You've only got a 55 amp battery, and that's when the battery's new. When the battery's done a few charges, but a lot of leisure batteries only do about 500 charges, and that's them done. So if you have 250 charges done on your leisure battery, I better check these chips. Forgot about it. Now the only thing with this here now, it turns off. Turns the power off, safety thing. Useless, don't like it turned off. Give it a wee shake. So you hear the inverter, make sure the wee light's on. I forget where it was, I'll continue on anyway. Right, the next problem I had then, I need an inverter to power this thing. Do you know that if you buy, do you know why the Chinese always have everything fake? If you went into Tesco now and you bought a litre jug to hold a litre of water, you can guarantee when you take that home it's going to hold a litre of water. But just imagine if you go to China and you buy a litre jug. It says a litre, it's marked a litre, but only holds a half a litre. That's the problem with inverters. See these things here? All the inverters are coming from China. If you buy a proper inverter, it's big money, massive money. And I bought one from Alibaba, where we call it the cheap things. A 3 kilowatt inverter. It's far too small. It's not much bigger than that. So size tells you roughly what it does. And the inverter only did about 700 watts. Useless. But I didn't expect much. I bought a very cheap thing. But then I went on then to Amazon, and they were given an option of paying for a 3-year warranty on this inverter. The inverter was £190. I thought, well, they always tell you to buy an inverter twice the capacity what you need. You shouldn't have to. You wouldn't buy twice the capacity of a jug, would you? If inverter is meant to do what's meant to do, but they're false labels. They're all false labels. There's two different types of inverters. That's a modified sine wave. That's crude. And the other one is pure sine wave. They're high tech. I have a pure sine wave inverter in here. I'm buying all these mod cons now. You know, prices are going up. So there's a pure sine wave inverter there. That's a 500 watt pure sine wave. That is pure sine wave. I have a lot of experiments to do here. These things are lying around. I have to get them tested out. Now the difference being now, that 500 watt pure sine wave inverter, if I was to put, now, if you switch on, I'll just show you here now. I'll just show you, I can show you here. If I turn this on now, see that's 6 watts. That's the power the inverter is using. So there's nothing in them sockets at the minute. It's not gone out there. I can knock this off of her. See that there? It's back on. I noticed the fan's cooling down, you see. I had that with the inverter. We're back again. So even with nothing plugged in, that's using 6 watts, that inverter. An inverter usually uses 10 watts of what the capacity is. So if I was to buy, well, say I want to power this chip pan here, and I was to buy a 3 kilowatt inverter, that 3 kilowatt inverter is going to use 30 watts doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I wanted to say buy a double, 6 kilowatts inverter. You're draining your battery, doing nothing. This is using 6 watts. If I plug that one in there, what's a wall doing now? I'll turn this inverter off. No, I have to keep that inverter on. No, that's not going to work. No, I can't do it with that. How can I? I can do it. I can do it. Well, you see, I have both cables on this. I'm going to run out of time. This is supposed to be a 20-minute video. I left both cables in this. See, I'm doing things with one hand. It's not easy. Oh, I know what I'm doing now. So I'll turn this inverter off here now. Now I'm putting on the DC. The DC's on. I'll plug in this inverter now. This inverter now is going to run now. And with nothing plugged into that inverter, I'll have to switch it on. There's nothing plugged in there. You got the wee fan going. There's nothing plugged in. That inverter there is using 9 watts. So that's using 9 watts of my battery before you plug anything in. But this is the big difference. A pure sine wave inverter, if I was to plug a 10 watt item in there, I'd be using 19 watts. That's the main difference. Whatever you plug in there, that'll adjust the power to what you want. This modified sine wave inverter, it doesn't know. So that's 1200 watts. If I plug a 10 watt item into that, it's going to use 1200 watts in the battery. If I plug a 1200 watt item in that, it's going to use 1200 watt in the battery. So they will use max power all the time. So if you're running things like laptops, it has to be a pure sine wave. It's just the way of doing it. This chip pan, as we see, is using 1132 watts. So I'm not losing very much. 1200 is the maximum. Now that's what I'm trying to say now. I bought a 2000 watt inverter from Amazon. They couldn't deliver it. 3 times, sent it back. So I bought the same inverter on eBay. I plugged it in. It had the wee lights. I'll put it in the end of this video. The wee lights, green was okay, amber is under pressure, red, I was going to fail. So I tried it with my old chip pan. Went to red, failed right away. You expect that. Now the old chip pan was 1700 watts. 2000 watt inverter couldn't power it. Now the problem with an electrical device, if you've got something that's spinning, say you're pushing a car, this car's sitting here still now. If I want to push this car now, it's way hard to get moving. If I was pushing the back now, it take 2 or 3 people to get the move. But once the car is moving, one man can push it. Once you get the momentum going, you ever see the world's strongest man? The very first push is way hard. And that's the problem with inverters. They have to go twice the power. So an inverter, a 1000 watt inverter should go to 2000 watts, because when you start up a motor and a chip pan, or when that ring first comes on, she needs a lot of inertia to get it going. See, big words, I don't normally use big words like that. Inertia or something like that, I don't know. But that only lasts for a minute. After a minute, that should be away. Problem with my 2 kilowatt inverter, it started up the chip pan. It ran it for 2 minutes and cut out. Why? I don't know. This brand here, Bestek, they are a proper brand name of inverters. This wee portable one they do, it's 1200 watts and modified sine wave. So that's your cheap one. I got that for £67. Big difference to £200. And they also got a pure sine wave. It's exact same size, exact same front, everything's exact same. But pure sine wave takes a lot more electronics. There's a lot more circuitry in it. It's £1,050, 1,060, or 150, 160 pounds to buy. But it only does 1000 watts of power. So had I went out and bought the pure sine wave, as we see here, it wouldn't power that so-called 900 watt chip pan. So if you want an air fryer, that's the wee inverter to go for. It is working. Now in theory, that there is roughly 1,200 watt hours of power in that battery. They measure things down in watt hours and makes it easier. We're using 1,136 watt hours. So in theory that will run that over an hour. If that does chips in half an hour, that's 2 portions of chips. Let's see what's happening here now. Oh, look at that, boys. Look at that there. Now, with this wee fryer here, I'm having to shake it. Now, my fryer in the house is 1,700 watts. Well, that's 1/3 less capacity, so that means it's 1/3 longer to cook. In my house, I would put the chip pan on, the air fryer on for 15 minutes. They're not cooked in 15 minutes, but the machine's warm. So I would usually put on 15 minutes, walk Luna, or else do something else, get my lunch ready. And I would usually have the chips in there maybe about half an hour before I'd eat them. So I put that in for 20 minutes. It could take 30 minutes to get them nice and brown and crisp. It's 20 minutes up on this now, so they're not ready at 20 minutes. There's no real way of knowing what power is on a lithium battery. That's my next problem. Whenever you've got like an AA battery and you shine a torch on it, you know the battery's going down because the bulb gets dimmer. A lithium battery does not lose power to the very end. It will maintain its power output and then just go. It's a bit like, I have a Dyson Hoover. So anybody's got Dyson Hoover will know the difference. It doesn't slow down. The Dyson will run at full speed and then just stops. The lithium more or less does the same. So that last, what's that time? It's 230 volts, 12. So that might go from 12 volts down to 11, just dies like. So you no real warning that way. I'll tell you what my idea is now. Like, this is my idea now. I got scooter. And I want to be able to charge the scooter up in the car while I'm driving. So there's another thing too. That battery there, 350, it was 500 on Amazon. But you don't get a charger for it. A proper brand name charger, them blue ones, proper brand name, it's £170. All these wee car chargers you buy, these smart chargers, that doesn't need it. It's got its battery management system. All it wants is 14 so volts. I might say on it how many volts. It doesn't need no fancy electronics, but it needs higher voltage than a standard charger to charge right. Does it say on that there? 14.5 volts. It wants 14.5 volts in. This here charger, lithium charger, there's nothing fancy. A red light and a green light, that's it. It puts in and it runs, the fan comes on when it goes on. And I want to see if I can charge that up with this charger using that there thing as I'm driving. How does that sound? Or else I'll use that wee inverter there to charge up my scooter instead of taking it out. So I'll have to try it here. Now I don't know, that's 20 amp charger. A lithium battery, that's a 100 amp lithium battery, and that can be charged at 100 amp. So you can have that charged an hour. What it would cost for a 100 amp charger, I have no idea. That charger there, non-brand name, was £50. Brown paper box, no retail packaging. Chargers are expensive. And I say no instructions, but it's Chinese. But basically what happens is the two lights go green. Because one stays green all the time, one goes red. But the both of them go green. And you think, is that working? It does the job. But if I had a motorhome or something like that, and I was using a bank of lithium chargers, I'd pay the £170 for the decent one. That's a brand name. And all I think about these batteries too, if you're using them on a motorhome and you want to link them together, you must buy them at the same time. You can't use one for a year and then add another one on to it. You get them all at the same time. But when you can drain that battery down, if I knock that out, that's still going. The fan's slowing down, this. Something's slowing down. Well, I can't hear with them motorbikes. Sound of something's changing. The voltage is fluctuating in this here. So I might have knocked that off again there. Oh, that's crisp now. They are crisp. Crisp. I'll give another wee 5 minutes. I'm on holiday. Oh, not really on holiday. Give another wee 5 minutes. So 25 minutes, I'll get 2 portions of chips. That's a weekend. That does me there. Another thing I was looking at is, say I want beans. I don't want to do beans in the car, like saucepans. How am I going to clean them? But you can buy what do you call them hot plates things? Conductor things. You have special pans. What's the name of them now? But I was looking at one. You get them for about £40. You have to buy the pan to match, and they will run from 300 watts. So in theory, you could even use the like of that there. Now I think that only runs about 150 watts from the car cigarette socket. After that, you have to use these. But that's not how to run a couple of wires if you're in a camper van. You can start the engine in your van and cook your beans if you wanted to. Or if I want to wire this in here, you can screw it to the side of the car and wire it in. If I want to do beans, I didn't want to use my lithium battery, the car would easily power that. Halogen headlight bulb is 100 watts. So 2 headlight bulbs is 200 watts. So to run the wee cooker, but 300 watts is going to take a while to do beans like. But I'm quite happy now, the setup's going now, like this is my first time now to have chips. I bought myself wee brown paper bags, we see the wee bags. I'm doing this the proper way here, mate, like. I need to get her food out before I put them out. The car's a mess again, but I haven't got time. I've got the wee bags, look. I'll tell you what. They held on with a wee string, right like the Bog Road years ago. 100 of them there was $3.50 on eBay. I'm going to put my chips in that wee bag, and a wee bottle of vinegar on there, and a wee can of Club Orange and all, and I'll bring it out there. Look, nice wee crisp and all. Here's the hot chips in a bag. See, you boys that go to the fast foods think nothing of it. That's all novelty to me. But I'll say I have to get, whenever these cooked here, I'll leave them in here where I get Luna's food out, and then they're still crisping up while it's in there. You see what it looks like now. Oh my God, look at that. Oh, look at that. Now, if I had a big inverter, they don't do big inverters and that. If they did big inverters, I'd bought a big inverter and used, I say that, see, that's light to carry. One of my houses is heavy. You wouldn't want to carry it all the time. Rattles about in the car and all, so it does. So I think that's a success there. That is a success. And see, cool boxes and dear fridges and all that, no need for that carry on. I just put a couple of ice packs in there. A lot of ones in 2 of the trees. Sorry, melted. It's still frozen, but a wee can of cool drink in there now, like. My arm's getting cut off. I can't do it holding the phone, like the price is too tight. But see, I'll put this on now. The thing is now, I'll get my wee chips now, brought my wee radio, I'll sit here, I'll look at the sea, look at my sea view, like. I've got a bit of a sea view. I want to stay in the grass because I could do my wee video. I don't want to be sitting on tarmac. Look at that. You're a tired bunny, ain't you, pet? Caravans are great, but if you can't have a caravan, this is the way to do it. And just imagine if my car was clean and tidy. Cheap like a restaurant, so it would. See, having time, you see, having time. Time you try to keep a house, keep a yard, the grass keeps growing, like. I'm down here now, my grass is growing. I'm going to have to cut it. These things, my hair needs cut. I'll have to cut my hair tomorrow night. It's always one thing or another. So the car sort of gets left. So I have to see now, at 20 amps, I don't know if 20 amps is over 150 watts. If 20 amps is less than 150 amps, in theory I can plug that in now and charge that battery up as I'm going. Oh, another thing about lithium, no gas off it. A lithium can sit any way at all. You can put it upside down if you want. You can sit any direction and no gas comes off it. So you can safely charge it up when you're travelling. But there is sparks come off it when you connect leads, so you wouldn't want to put it in a gas locker. That wee fan there seems to be going well. It's going up and down, going by the heat of that thing. I can feel the heat coming out the back. You know what, I should leave a bigger air gap. But it's not scalding, so it is working well. Oh, look at that! Oh. Listen to the crisp. Listen to the crisp. I looked at YouTube and all. Could I get any? You ask people, well, run an air fryer, and people just tell you, well, if that's 20 watts and that's 20 watts, it doesn't work. But 200 or 2000 watt inverter would not run an air fryer. So, oh, that's a nice sound. So here we are now. Let's see what 13.2 volts now. So as soon as that goes off, that gone from 12 volts up to 13.2. And that's the mean. While you're running a load, you don't know what it's doing. See how the fan's shutting down that now? So the fan only runs to keep it cool. That's a big load. She's running near 100%. The curious thing now, but it's not saying nothing got out. Is that not using no power? Or what power would that? If that one there is using 6 watts, what's the standby power that? There must be still power, like that light's lit up. There must be still power going in there doing something. But I always believed that they would run at full power, but obviously it's not. Well, let's see what it says here. People say the cables are too thin. That cable, it's not cold. It's not warm. If you've got cold hands, it ain't going to heat it up. But the problem with thick cables, why hard carrying things with thick cables? You could run thicker cables. The longer the cables you run, the thicker they have to be. I like the way it clips on. Them ones, they look very thin, don't they? That's 500 watts there. That's a lot thinner than them ones. And that's also the same name, Bestek. But I guess 500 watts. That there's 1200. So they haven't put any thicker cables on that it needs. So I wouldn't worry about the cables. I say I doubled the cables up in the old one. It's very awkward trying to, you can't move it. You cannot move it. I say if you're bolting this into something and you want to screw it on and the cables are longer, the longer the cables, the thicker they have to be, but then you'll not be moving it. I'm well pleased. That's that experiment finished now. I get Luna fed. And then I'll take a wee shot then on the bag. There's my chips in the bag. A wee bit of vinegar. Oh. Look at that, boys. Look at that. Aye. Oh, look at the steam. Oh, look at the steam coming out of them. Oh, I'll tell you what, the bag's a bit thin. The vinegar's put a hole in the bag. Oh. Had to put the bag sideways now. But look at that, look at that. The bag's a bit of a disaster. Oh, it's brilliant to have chips in the car. Nice wee view like that. Oh, and they're never in crispy and all. Them out chips there. You can get chips in the Aldi. They're a pound, them ones in Iceland. But Aldi oven chips are nice. Them ones are going out of date, that's why I had to use them. They work good at 2.5 kilograms for €1.50. So right chips is not dear.